Hello, welcome to episode 2 of Tales from the Hunt, a Monster Hunter World podcast. We've named it, finally, and I am joined by Gavin.
Hello.
Oh, I forgot how to speak for a second there. My words were almost the wrong words.
It is difficult.
Yeah, they just suddenly nearly started with the wrong letters. I don't know. Anyway, on with the running order. We're going to do a brief sort of intro bit about what we've kind of done recently in the game, and then we're going to jump in and talk about some weapons, and then some monsters, and then a bit about the arena and the gathering hub. So, plenty of things to chat about. I suppose I'll start first with what I've done recently.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I finally beat Nergigante the other day. That was good times.
Excellent.
He was... I somewhat struggled with him, actually. He was the only monster to actually beat me a few times.
He's rough.
Yeah, I just couldn't quite get the timing down on some of the things he was doing when he just sort of did like the sideways roll and stuff. He just... Yeah, he was a tricky one.
Yeah, I think the way his attacks have been designed, I think, is to kind of mess with the way you expect him to behave. Because, you know, like, when he does, the kind of sideways, like, almost like a push thing with his wings. Like, You think you're out the way, and then the wing, like, springs up out of the ground and just whaps you. Or when he's doing, like, a thing where he raises his hand, he, like, has a big delay before he goes down. And so that a good few times, I rolled way too early and just got clawed right in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a bit tricky. But I did realise that I hadn't actually ever upgraded any of my armour. So
oh, dear.
I did that, and then I was like, oh, this is a lot easier.
Yeah,
I was just dying within like 2-3 hits, and then I just maxed out my armor upgrade, and then I was like, I could take maybe 6, and I'm okay. So it's not like it doesn't whack me, and I've got to frantically run away and drink a mega potion. I can kind of take a hit and not be too worried.
Unless it's his big dive bomb.
I mean, yeah, but yeah,
that's the classic one. Just, I don't know. I mean, if you hadn't upgraded your armor, that would have definitely been a one-shot kill if he hit you with it.
It was.
As an attack, I really like. It's weird. It's so obviously, like, cued, but it still feels challenging, because he does a roar, spreads his wings, flies up.
It sort of swerves as well a bit, so it is good.
Like, stares right at you, and there's a delay, and it's pretty tense, because it's like challenging you to forget the timing.
It was good, and he was a good battle, and now I'm off to hunt for the other Elder Dragons, which is cool. How about you, Gav?
I've been a bit lax. I've not played much recently, but the last time I played, I was kind of in the process of just trying to continue to assemble this silly armor set I have to change me from being a kind of wearing the wrong armor guy to someone who does a lot of damage. Just try to get a lot of the critical hit stuff. I was actually trying to get the final upgrade for the Nergigante hammer, and that requires some things that you need off him and off the final boss as well.
Yeah,
and it's a bit of a pain because you either go yourself and have someone join and die, or join SOSs and see everyone else die. So, like even you join investigations, like, oh, they'll know what they're doing. They don't sometimes. That's the thing. I don't know. I'm not quite up in the end game yet with the tempered monsters. Mostly just I think I've missed some of the ways to find them. Mostly because I don't spend a lot of time in expeditions recently. And I mean, I think that's how you're supposed to find their tracks. But I think it's not an unusual experience. I think a lot of people basically didn't run into the whole concept of tempered monsters until they were a bit further on. Because I think because basically you get tempered versions of all the different monsters in the game, and they're basically just like stronger versions. I don't think their health value changes, but they do. It could be double damage or something like that.
I think that's what I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, and so you can get them for... I don't actually know what the difference is in loot, because it certainly doesn't unlock a new level of loot, like G rank or whatever, but it must drop better, I think, stuff. I think it's got to do mostly with decorations and stuff, though.
Right, maybe that's it then, yeah. More like drops more gems, or is more likely to drop gems, or maybe?
Yeah, it drops the stream stones, which you can...
That's the ones.
Take to the Elder Melder and have them look at for you.
Yes.
But yeah, I've still not done that really very much. I've not. There's been other games that have been taking up my attention. I'm sorry, Monster Hunter. I've been cheating on you.
I'm sure it'll
I'll get over it
Yeah, one day.
one
I mean,
day.
it holds a grudge, but it forgives. It might not forget.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Anyway, should we jump onto our weapon discussions?
Yes, on you go.
Cool.
I believe you've
Right,
been.
so I've finally put down the Switch Axe after playing pretty much exclusively with the Switch Axe for the entire game, Switch Blade rather, and I've picked up the heavy bowgun properly. So I've done like maybe 20 missions with it now. So I've been I've been really sinking into using the heavy bowgun, and it's so good. It's so much fun. I think I said it before, but it basically turns like Monster Hunter into like a third-person shooter, like Gears of War almost.
Yeah.
And it's so good. So instead of going into first-person mode like you used to in the previous games, everything is done from third-person. And then each bowgun has kind of like a super ability that it can do.
Yeah.
I think there are 2 different types. I could be wrong, there might be a third, but I haven't discovered that yet. There could be before, I don't know. But so they have 2 types. Basically, there's either the Gatling gun version or there's the sniper version. So, and these kind of, they recharge over time, so they're infinite, essentially, but you have to wait between uses.
Okay.
And I had such a good fight against a Rathian the other day with some other people, and as I used my heavy bowgun with its sniper form, we'd been bashing on this pink Rathian for ages, and then I lay down on the top of the hill, get my sniper mode out, shoot it in the head, and then it takes the initial shot, staggers a bit, and then it explodes, and then and that was just the end of the Rathian. It just crumpled after that. It was such an awesome moment, and then because you know how the game sort of like. When the music plays as you defeat something, it kind of pans round the monster.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still these explosions going on around its head as it falls down. And then it shows you, after you finish the carving and stuff, it shows you that sort of screenshot of what you were doing when it was there. And it's just me lying down, I mean, like the explosion for head. Oh, it was amazing. It was like, yes, that's
pretty good.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
The explosion thing? I sometimes notice it. I've not played with the bowguns yet, but is that? I don't know, because there seems to be a couple different things where either there's like a large explosion, or there's like almost like a kind of firework type effect when it hits it. I don't know which weapon that belongs to.
Yeah, because the bowguns, all the bowguns and the bows even have so many like ammo types that they can use. So for the actual bowguns, you've got things like explosive ammo and stuff. Like or sticky ammo, I think it might be called. And basically, like you shoot it at the monster, and then after a few seconds, they'll all explode. So if you hit them in one area, then they blow each other up and do even more damage. And there's ones that are like slicing ammo, which as you shoot it at things that can be severed, then it can cut through tails and things like that.
Yeah.
Which is just really cool. And then there's the one called the cluster bomb, actually, which does hit other hunters, so it will send them flying a bit like being hit by a greatsword. But yeah, no, that sort of like, it's almost like a mortar shell, that one. So it's sort of even when you aim it, it kind of shows you that sort of like circle on the floor to where it's going to land, but it does do like pretty crazy damage.
Yeah, that sounds good. I've played with the bowguns a bit in the older games. But obviously, you could either just fire from like third person with no aiming reticle at all, which I think is what I'd do if I was using the light one anyway, because you're more mobile. Yeah. But I think with the heavy one, you didn't have to deploy it, I don't think, but I think you could deploy it in like siege mode and fire faster that way.
Yeah.
But the new one sounds really good. Just I guess it's just the control scheme, isn't it? Just making it a bit easier for that kind of gameplay, enabling much more mobility while shooting. Yeah,
you are a lot more mobile. You are definitely slower than you are with like using the other one, but you are a lot more mobile. Plus, you can always still do a melee attack if you need to. Like I I jumped off a cliff, not a cliff, like a jump area, like a small ledge.
Yeah.
We'll go with, and then you press the triangle circle together, and or whatever it is for Xbox. They have letters, don't they? It's been a long time since I played it. An Xbox controller.
Y and B, I think it would be.
There you go. The S were on it. Yeah, and you do sort of like a big smash with the heavy bowgun, and it's so slow and powered. It does an absolute crap ton of damage. And yeah, getting a mount like that is great.
Nice.
Because then when you finish, because like most of the weapons do, like when you finish the mount, you can occasionally do like a cool thing as you come off. Like
like a charged attack or.
Yeah. So with that, you kind of just stick the bowgun like right against the monster and then let off like a massive explosion. So
nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think all the weapons have like a unique version of it.
Yeah.
Because like I think with the hammer you can do like one of its big charged attacks.
Yeah.
With the charge blade you do like one of its discharges.
Yeah. With switchblade, you stick it in and do an discharge.
Nice.
Elemental discharge.
Yeah, they're pretty good fun. I like them.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah. It just looks really cool. It's like because quite often because I've set my heavy bowgun up because you can give them upgrades to make them attachments. That's the wording.
Mm-hmm.
So that they kind of are better at either close or far, or better at reloading, or better at sort of maybe with certain types of ammo and things. So quite often, because I'm using the sniper one, I'm better off being slightly further away.
Yeah.
So it's like that moment where the monster runs at me, and I end up just manage to jump out of the way, and then you just jump off a thing and just get back at it with like a massive swing. It's so satisfying. It's really, really good. It does that classic Monster Hunter thing of just turn the game into an entirely different game just by switching out the weapon.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of making all the weapons feel... I mean, they always did, really.
Yeah.
Making them feel like really all satisfying and rewarding to use in their own way.
Definitely.
Like, there's none of them that I'm like, oh, this one just doesn't feel that good to use, because they all feel pretty good to use.
They do. I never managed to use a ranged weapon before. I've always sort of tried them and gone, not for me. But then with World, I've really gotten into using the heavy bowgun.
Yeah.
Because it's got so many, like, switching between ammo sets and stuff, and, like, trying to poison the monster, or do, like, if you're up close, you've got, like, spread ammo, which basically just turns it into a shotgun. And, yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah. It's quite fun just sort of jumping in and just, like, jumping into SOSs and with people who don't have a ranged person, just being that guy at the back who occasionally switches to like healing ammo and heals people up by shooting them as well. So yeah, no, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Properly satisfying, and I'm looking forward to trying out the rest of the ranged weapons and maybe just do some more with the heavy bowgun. So far, I've tried all three a little bit, but it's definitely the one I've enjoyed the most.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do some sick damage, and
you do.
You do some good support as well, like elemental stuff and status effects, bit heals. Yeah, no, it was some good moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully next episode we'll be able to talk about a different weapon in a bit more
Hopefully.
detail about what it does.
We'll
see one
give
other
something
thing.
a
Actually.
try.
Yes, exactly. I will say one last thing about the heavy bowgun is that I think it's the Wyvern ammo basically turns the end of the bowgun into like this sort of like it looks a bit like a Bunsen burner, like, and you know, you turn a Bunsen burner, go all the way to blue, and it's like that sort of like intense blue flame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a bit like that initially, and then it sort of like ramps up, and then it does this huge explosion that staggers you backwards. But it only works in a really short range, so when the monster's staggered, you just take it out, and it takes like a few seconds, like it's like sends like a burning charge, and then it's a massive explosion.
That's something from the Gunlance. That's kind of the Gunlance's special move, and I suppose there's an ammo type that lets you do that with the bowgun as well. That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Because originally I didn't know if that was going to be like, instead of like the sniper shot thing. When I was looking at the before the game came out, wasn't sure whether that was going to be one of those sort of like special things. But no, any bowgun that allows you to use that ammo can do it.
Nice.
Which is really good, and it's super satisfying as well. Of like the monster gets down, so you run in, equip your Wyvern ammo, and you're just there, just like, oh yes.
Very satisfying to do. Having used the gun lance before, it is good fun.
Yeah.
Just there's just something about the delay and then the way you get like launched backwards as well makes it
Yeah. Yeah.
very dangerous, but great fun.
Exactly. Yeah. So should we talk a bit about some monsters that we've
some monsters
fought?
in the Monster Hunter podcast, certainly.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that seems like a good choice. I feel like I've talked a lot, so why don't you lead with your monster of choice for this week's?
All right. I've hunted him a couple times. I like fighting the one and only Basil Goose. I'm assuming it's like an Basil Goose.
Yeah.
Basil Goose. It's
Basil
a bit
Goose,
like
Basil Geese.
a bit like the star system, but Betelgeuse, but different. Anyway, yeah. Basically big flying dickhead drops bombs on you. Like the second you enter high rank, he's just there.
Yeah.
Forever now. He's like he's your best friend, your buddy, except he hates you.
It does just come careening into 90% of fights.
Like if you're lucky, you'll be fighting a monster that doesn't have its own musical theme, and then suddenly you'll hear his like pick up because it sounds like an air raid siren, and like if you're unlucky, you get no warning, and just suddenly you just get knocked over from behind. There's 100 explosions, and this just massive B-52 just smashes into you, straight into the monster you try to fight as well.
Yeah, it really does. He's just like he just wants to be a part of every encounter.
I know.
Like, oh, don't forget about me. I'm also here.
Yeah, exactly. Just he can be useful sometimes, in that if you just kind of, let's just say, gilly mantle and run away, he will fight the other monster for you.
Yeah, he will.
And then
he does
leave.
serious damage as well, because he just explodes everything.
Because like he's, as I learned when I tried to bash his face in when he first showed up when I was hunting a high rank Baroth, he's a pretty like high level monster relative to the other ones, and does quite a serious amount of damage to you.
He does indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
I like his design a lot. He's just kind of very large and imposing, drops the scales, and when he's like, his enrage looks really cool, because like all the scales start glowing, and so does his like whole back, and he just looks like you should not mess with him, which is true, because you should not. When he's in that state, just leave him alone. Come back in a sec.
Yeah. He looks a bit like a giant flying armadillo, or like a pangolin almost.
Yeah,
as well.
a bit, yeah. With wings.
With wings.
Extremely angry one.
Yeah, he's like amazing looking, but also terrifying when he shows up.
Yeah.
Eventually. Oh, sorry, no, go on.
I was just gonna say, eventually when you start hunting him, then, like for real, once he stops just being a threat to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite satisfying just to batter him a bit. Like, I think he fulfills in high rank what Anjanath did in the Ancient Forest. Where he just kind of rolls about and sometimes pops up to bother you and attack what you're attacking until you eventually fight him.
Yeah, he's good. I had I think we were. I can't remember what we were trying to hunt now. I was playing with a couple of friends the other day, and we were like, there's only three of us fighting the actual monster. I think it might be Pink Rathian, actually. And it was like, where's the other guy? It's like 30 seconds later, he comes running through, and there's just this Basil Geese, like, just chasing him from behind. And it's like he'd just been sort of like taken like an alternate route or something to go to the monster, and then just run into this fearsome creature as it just sort of barrels behind him, chasing him. And we're just like, oh, hi, thanks for bringing that with you.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
You eventually realise that dung bombs are your friend. Like, wonder where you have them the whole game, and then you realise that you can ping them at things to make them go away.
Yes.
But, yeah, so he does, like, he'll do a couple runs and just, like, drop these scales. And when you first like fight him, you don't really know what they are, and like
No.
you're like, what if those hit me? Would they have hurt me? And like, so you won't instinctively run away from them. Like you might think that they just missed,
Yeah.
and then suddenly you just realize that he's coming at you with his face, just like dragging his whole body across the ground, leaving a massive trail of explosions, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very intimidating.
Oh, extremely.
Good stuff.
He is just, yeah. Well, the first time he appears in high rank, where you're just not expecting him to, you're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. It's like, what is that? What is that over there that is coming towards me?
Yeah.
Because very big. Like, might be, with the exception of the final boss, like, I think he could be the biggest.
He might be, yeah.
You
He's
don't
massive.
tend to run into things, or it's just, I think he's got a very big wingspan as well, but you don't tend to run into that many things that large in the game.
No, it's the way that the wings are as well. They're so curved and round compared to like some of the wyvern wings.
Yeah.
They like look very dragon-like. His are more, I don't know, they're like almost disc shaped almost. They're very
Yeah.
yeah. Because I remember the first time I ran into him, I was hunting a Rathian in the forest, and then I was fighting him, and then then fighting the Rathian, and then a second Rathian turned up. And then he turned up, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
What have I done to deserve this?
Yeah, I was like, relatively early high rank mission, and it was just like, "Oh god, just gonna hide
Triple
around
threat.
here."
I almost feel
This is
like,
too many.
I don't know if this is true or if it's just my experience, but I find monsters tend to like end up in one zone together a lot more once you're in high rank. But maybe that's just the way it's panned out for me. Although, like, I find in high rank, or in the game in general, sometimes having more than one monster at once isn't that bad. Because unlike in the other games, the previous ones, they can hit each other now and will attack each other, like change their attention. Because before they basically were just single-minded, like they wanted to eat you.
Yeah. It sometimes gives you a bit of a breather. Sometimes
Yeah.
lets you just go right. I can eat some food, heal up,
Like
maybe apply a buff
I
or
remember
something. And
I was hunting a Rathalos, and obviously if there's a Rathalos, there's always a Rathian about usually.
yeah,
And in the nest, they were both there, and I was like, oh, I was chasing the Rathalos back, and the Rathian showed up, and I was like, oh dear, what am I going to do? But I imagine, much like a real married couple, they mostly just got in each other's way, hit each other with fireballs, knocked one another over, but eventually worked out.
because there are very few spaces that are actually big enough to have them
Yeah.
both flying around and charging. That they would just be careening into each other.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
so on kind of the other end of the threat spectrum,
Oh yeah, my buddy.
you have a monster that you were.
Yeah, Zitiyaku. Is that how you say his name? Ziti.
Tsitsi?
Ziti.
Tsitsi
I don't know,
Yaku.
He's the one
Good.
that has like the flash thing on his head. And
Photoraptor.
yeah, that's the guy. Him. Yeah. I fought him quite a few times recently, trying to cut his claws. I needed 5 to upgrade my Switchblade, I think. So that was one of the reasons I played so much Bogan recently, is I was just jumping in the randoms, just hunting him and just trying to get that. So yeah, no, fought him so many times, and like I just wanted to get his claws, and it took like 10 defeats for me to get him. And,
10 attempts.
yeah, it's just like, oh,
It's
it's
a
just
curse.
taking forever.
The game
it's
knows
the-
when you want something.
It does know. And but yeah, no, it was one of those things of like, I swear it takes longer for the game to load for me to join someone and then find him than it does for him to die each time.
Yeah,
he-
I know.
He's a bit of a pushover, but he does have some cool things going for him, I think. Like,
Yeah,
the whole photo thing is really good. So like if he does show up to a fight when you're fighting something more imposing, it is quite amusing when he just sort of just stuns them for a few seconds.
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
he'll just like run into the zone, just be like, "What's up, boys? Say cheese," and just like stun everything in the zone, and then just run away again.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty funny to watch a tsitsi in action.
It's good because then, like, you find like something that flies, he does it, and it just collapses to the ground, and he's off.
He helped me out against a Legiana a couple times. Just it was
nice.
flying around, very upset at me, trying to ice me up, and just zapped out the sky and ran away.
That is good. No, yeah, he's the most interesting of like the raptor species that
Yeah.
Monster Hunter have by far. he does like he actually has like a thing that he does rather than him just being like, I'm a raptor of this specific color.
Yeah, I mean, at least in World they're a bit more distinctive. Like you've got the rock raptor, you got your and him. Like, I mean, in the other ones they're kind of just different colors. I mean, not that I wasn't fond of them, but they were kind of different colors, except some of them spat poison. He's not the first one to have not the first raptor. I mean, he's not the first monster to have the whole flash thing. I don't think, because there was the Gypsaros before, which was the
good point.
He was a wyvern weird one. I think he did poison and flashed you, and if he pecked you, he stole stuff. But
yes, I remember.
Yeah, it's a thing I kind of like. I like that it feels really. I mean, he's a bit easier than the other flash creatures, but at the same time, I think it's almost a bit more fair, because sometimes it can be a bit difficult to tell what the effective flash range was on the other ones, but it's very clearly defined for him.
It is, it is really clearly defined. You can see the exact line of where it is and where it goes to.
But I do feel bad for being there.
Yeah, I do kind of think that if you face away from him, it shouldn't work, but I kind of see why it still does.
Yeah, I think if you perfectly time your roll as well, you can.
Yeah, if you do the dive, you're fine.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
So just put your weapon away, and just do the Superman dive, and it's a-okay.
You're safe.
Exactly.
Yeah. Once you like. It's one of those ones where once you like come back to him when you're geared up, like I felt bad because I basically assembled an Elder Dragon bashing kit.
Yeah.
That involved, high affinity, a lot of damage output, like power talons and stuff, and I was just like, it was like every hit's a crit to the head. I was like, well, I need to kill him for like I think it was a weekly thing, so I just went after him a few times and just like he didn't even get out of the first zone with me. He just crumpled, got floored over and over and over, and I was just like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. No, he's good. I like that he's there. He's a nice addition. I just love when he shows up at like inopportune moments are just so good. But fought him quite a few times recently, so I thought I'd give him a shout. Good old.
He does. He deserves a shout.
Yaku. Yeah, he does. He's a cool guy. So that's our monsters covered for the episode. We'll do some more next time. I thought we'd chat a bit about the arena and the Gathering Hub next. Should we do the Gathering Hub first? Because
I suppose that's segue into it.
Yeah, we've fought a monster and now we need to go to the Gathering Hub. That's my pathetic attempt at a segue.
Yes. Yes. Well,
do you use the Gathering Hub?
No, never. Not really.
No. I don't think anyone does. I've never seen anyone in there. I've sort of wandered in. Because I felt like it, to see if anyone was there, and there's never anyone there.
Yeah, sometimes you want to go in there and kind of show off your equipment, look at other people's, arm wrestle them over the barrel, but it just doesn't. They're not there, really, are they? Everyone's just in Astera getting stuff.
Yeah, because you've got no reason not to.
Yeah, there's not, unless you're doing arena quests. There's no good reason to go up to the Gathering Hub.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it feels like a shame. I feel like that Capcom really need to patch it so that when you come out of a mission and you're still in
if you're in a party,
then you should just go straight to the Gathering Hub, and then you have the option of leaving there. But I do also think that like the loading time to go to the Gathering Hub makes going to the Gathering Hub not worth it. It's like it takes as long to load into a mission as it does to go to the Gathering Hub, which it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's a bit daft. I mean, If people haven't played the earlier games, what it basically replaced was the Gathering Hall, which was basically the multiplayer place.
Yeah.
And you'd go there if you wanted to start a multiplayer mission, and generally most of the things you could do were accessible from it. Weirdly enough, they kind of replaced that with the whole online session thing, which, I guess I appreciate what it does, but I don't think it replaces the old hall. Because, that was when you were in you're in a 4-man squad, like, doing actual hunting. Yeah. I feel like in most sessions, it's just, you're in there because you want to use the online features. You're not really ever going to interact with other people, because I know that I don't really join quests unless I'm playing with someone from the online session, because I know that when I do it, it's usually because I've left multiplayer on by mistake, and I don't really want people to join, and I get quite surprised when they do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I usually just join SOSs instead.
Yeah, because they know that they want someone, and you'll definitely get a 4-man squad eventually.
Exactly.
But yeah,
I
it's
think
a shame because I feel like the game hasn't replaced the social functions that the old hall had, at least in terms of people actually being there, because you can't see each other wandering around Astera. You can't. For some reason, you can still sit around and do emotes at the canteen in Astera, but it's just for your own amusement.
Yeah, it really is. It'd be nice if it was like almost like a Destiny like hub area where everything you could just do and then see all the people that you're in the same server. But
yeah, but I mean,
I can understand limitations and stuff, but
they need to add like something, I don't know, the ability to like either without a massive loading screen go and check your armor and stuff and upgrade it, or like the ability to do that from the hub rather than having to leave it, because it's just a pain, really.
Yeah, and then definitely the like putting you back there rather than the front gate where you've got to run all the way across and then go up.
Maybe not if you're solo, but if you choose to continue on in a party, it should definitely plop you into the hub.
Definitely.
Then you can still see everyone, and you can see if they've started a quest. I mean, the old system had its flaws, but I think it did make that kind of it made it felt a bit more special. I feel like, if you ended up doing a few hunts with someone, you might end up adding them as a friend or something. I don't really think that happens much anymore, because hardly anyone ever continues after a quest because they want to go back and check stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be quite nice if it was almost a baseline to continue with the same party, but then I can understand why it isn't, because online and offline are kind of integrated now.
They are. It'd be nice to see something in the future added. I mean, they could even just add, I don't know. Yeah, as I say, maybe in the future they could add like an area that's like Astera that everyone was, but I don't see why they would want to do that.
It could be
just
something
want to make the gathering hub. Yeah, it could be.
Then the weird thing is that I didn't notice it, but I only heard of it from other people. Because up in the gathering hub, there's an area called the Chamber of the Five.
Oh yeah.
Eventually becomes your room, but there's like an NPC in there that you can speak to. I never got the chance to speak to them because I didn't notice they were there until.
It's your room.
Yeah, and then at that point they just disappear, and you just can't speak to them anymore. It's a bit weird. It feels like there's maybe a feature there that was either not implemented properly or might be used in the future. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because there's a book you can read as well, which is like almost like the origin. Like, it's a bit like the Bible for Monster Hunter, almost, of like their sort of religious how the world started thing.
Yeah,
which is really interesting about. It kind of talks about the elder gods and stuff, which it's like a weird place to hide like some of your game's lore. It's somewhere that A goes away and is B somewhere that most people don't actually know exists. Because it even look like you can go in there initially when the first time you go to the Gathering Hub. It just looks like a fake door almost.
Yeah, I only noticed it after I noticed a loading screen thing, and then like looked it up, and I was like saw people talking about it on the internet, and I was like, oh right, okay, so there was something in there that I can't look at anymore. Yeah. I think obviously there's a lot more interest now in the sort of backstory of the series. It's not something that I don't really think it's something that like the more hardcore fans are really that into. Like the idea of the series having this continuous story or like a Dark Souls-y sort of lore to uncover if you pay enough attention. But, it's something there's been kind of speculation videos appearing about now, because I think some of the... this is obviously maybe a topic for another day, because I don't want to speak at length about it, but there's, videos about... Basically, a lot of the kind of origin stuff is... The speculation, anyway, is essentially basically non-canon, but appeared in some concept art for the first game before it came out, but it didn't actually make it into the game.
Right.
Like, there's this whole thing about a war before, essentially, that it's kind of almost a bit post-apocalyptic, because it's kind of interesting in its own right, but since it was just concept art and stuff, I don't really think it has that much bearing. Anyway.
No.
And again, topic for another day, maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I think it's weird that there's that whole thing there. Because I never got to read the Tale of the Five. I noticed it in the thing, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm not looking at that now unless I start a new save.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard, that is. They should... Yeah, it should just be in your room, I suppose. It would
Yeah,
make
I
sense
guess.
for it just to be
Don't see
in
why not.
there. No, maybe they'll patch it in. That's my phrase of the day for this
Yeah.
podcast.
Just
Maybe in a
patch it
patch it'll happen.
Patch it in, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, as we mentioned, the Gathering Hub. I believe you had been going there as a brave warrior of the arena, and that you had some
I
thoughts
have.
on arenas.
Yeah, I've done the arena a couple of arena missions. Not to be confused with the special arena, which is
No,
just where you get to beat up a monster through normal
In a-
mission menu. Thing.
almost in a kind of nasty way. I feel bad in the special arena
Oh, it's so mean, isn't
because
it?
they're like, oh, you've captured this monster for observation, and it's like,
Yeah, now kill
have
it.
I? It's like I've captured it so I can stick it with a Dragonator. Apparently,
Yeah, it feels incredibly mean. It's like,
it's basically just like it's kind of interesting because it does make capturing a lot more rewarding. Because it's like basically you can capture it and then in a really stacked deck arena batter it.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
the
But
other
one,
arena though.
yeah, the other arena gives you kind of set equipment, and then it's kind of a bit more like a time challenge almost.
Yeah.
And it maxed out. I think it's you can only ever have 2 people at most doing the arena
Mhm.
mission. But it's quite good. It kind of adds like a nice challenge if you like, because it'll scale back like your weapon to be like a less good version of itself, almost like early weapons and things.
Yeah.
So it means that you can fight those sort of early monsters like Great Jagras, but be on a level playing field where you've not got like your end game armor and weapons, so you can kill it in 2 hits. You've got like one of the early starting weapons, and then maybe really crap armor.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a nice addition that like.
I think they did have a similar thing in the other games, but I don't think I played about with it much.
I haven't touched this one that much, but I just thought I'd have a quick look at it, and it's definitely interesting. It's definitely the sort of thing that would be like,
Mm-hmm.
I can see why they've added it. It's kind of one of those like almost like YouTuber Twitch stream
Yeah, I mean,
like-
there's a lot of people
like
that upload videos of it.
modes that are
I think-
like speed runs and things like that. So
There
I
were-
can see
there
why
was-
it's there. It's
Definitely an arena system before any other ones, but I think it was kind of hidden away in the Gathering Hall, and I think it was a pretty hardcore thing, I think. I mean,
this is too, probably, to be honest.
Yeah,
This
I
is
guess.
hidden away in the Gathering Hub. And
it's nice that you can get that unique armor from beating it, can't you? And weapons.
yeah, I think so, yeah.
Because there's the
Yeah.
coins
Yeah.
unlock
Which is,
the...
it gives you a good excuse to go and do them. Rather than, I think in the other one, they were just sort of there if you wanted to.
Yeah,
I don't think they gave you
think.
anything.
I think some of them gave you, like, coins as well. I'm not too sure.
Did they? Oh, it's been a while.
It's been a
I'll
while,
have a
yeah.
look.
So I think
I will.
you could get
check.
into it, at least in the PSP ones, it was like through the training thing,
Yeah.
and then in the other ones, it was in the Gathering Hall.
Cool.
But yeah, it's a nice system. I like the arena. It's good.
It's good.
But then at the same time, I think what's interesting about it is it kind of strips you of maybe the some of the advantages you'd use otherwise, and so it can feel a monster can feel a lot more difficult in the arena
Yeah.
because there's a lot less like level geometry to use against it for jumping attacks and stuff, and obviously you don't get access to your own personal supply of things like flash pods and traps.
Yeah. You just get whatever you get given for the thing, which is it's interesting. It's a nice extra layer if you get bored of the grind of trying to upgrade weapons, you can just sort of take it back to basics and then beat some monsters and then get some coins as kind of an extra reward. Play the game because you like to play the game. It's nice. I like it. I want to try more.
Yeah, I just feel like if I do it, I'll just post some embarrassing times.
Yeah,
And-
I certainly have.
I'll look at the top score and it's like, this is how I destroyed 2 Rathalos in a minute 30, and I'll be like, it took me a half hour. Well,
Yeah,
I think they're like 25 minutes time limits, but
still. Yeah, I know what you mean.
running close
No,
to the
it's-
time limit is always good fun.
Those last few seconds, you're just frantically getting those last few hits.
I've seen some screenshots of people fighting the Elder Dragons and getting a clear on like 49 minutes, 49 seconds.
Whoa,
It's being like, I'm not gonna make it.
that's impressive. Wow,
Yeah, the arena is
Anyway.
like a supercharged version of that.
it is.
Anyway,
I think that probably about wraps it up for this episode of Tales
puts a
from the
bow
Hunt.
on top.
Yeah, those were some tales from our hunts and the weapons we've used and the monsters we fought.
Hopefully,
Thank
for the
you.
next one, I'll have actually spent a lot more time with the game. I've just been lazy with it. I'll be
That's
back.
fine.
I'll be
It's
back.
fine. We're busy people. We lead exciting
Yeah,
lives.
I'm busy and important. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. It's also
No
worth
idea.
mentioning that we've had an insane amount of snow in the UK,
Oh yeah.
which
Nuts.
obviously has meant that we've had to go sledging rather than play
Oh
Monster
yeah,
Hunter,
yeah.
so-
I mean, I've been out there on the slopes.
Yeah, I've got to, bust some skills on the pipes.
Nice.
Yeah, I know my lingo, Gavin. Don't question me.
Well, in fairness, this is not related to the Monster Hunter podcast whatsoever. But I was watching there was the Winter Olympics on, and now it feels like it's the UK Winter Olympics.
Yes.
Except
yeah.
instead of people doing like things on half pipes and guys doing, I don't know, like fucking 1080 board grab stuff and getting 95 points for it, it's me slipping down my driveway and hurting myself.
Oh gosh, we've been snowed in pretty much. we live on the side of a hill by a forest, and like the entire road and everything is just like 30 centimeters of snow everywhere.
Yeah.
The nearest grip box is at the bottom of the hill, so it's not worth it.
Wonder if
Just-
there'll be any monsters in the snow.
Could be. I mean, it could be foreshadowing a potential snow area for
It will-
Monster Hunter.
Capcom has arranged this.
You never know. You never know.
This is
Anyway,
our advertising campaign. Anyway, yeah.
thank you for listening to this episode of Tales from the Hunt. If you have found us without the website attached, you can find us over at bitsandpieces.games. Check us out for some cool articles, cool podcasts, occasionally interesting videos.
And if there's anything you want us to speak about on the next one, if you're a Monster Hunter head and you want to tell us we're wrong or suggest something, go ahead, please.
Yeah,
Makes us feel
yeah.
loved.
Exactly. Yeah. I think I put the email on the website. It should be a little email icon. You click on that, send us a sick email. Not a sick email. That was don't send us sick emails.
Nah.
Just send us nice emails
Healthy email.
about cool things. Sick was used in the wrong context potentially there, or could be misconstrued. Anyway, you can also find us on the social medias at Twitter on Bits Plus Pieces, and on Facebook and Instagram at Those Bits and Pieces. I nearly forgot what they were. Oh dear, the snow has addled
It
my
works.
brain.
Exactly. The snow makes you slow.
Yes, it does. And that's that. On that that note, goodbye everyone. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.